Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Strokes, staying clean, and I'm so happy to be here with you with my recovery, about recovery. And today we're going to talk about how our actions affect those that live with us and love us. Our actions. And before we even talk about that, I want to address those that are in recovery. And, you know, when I was in my early recovery, I listened to the stories of people expressing their recovery to me, their addiction to me. I could feel their pain. I could feel their hurt. I could feel their remorse. I can understand because I was experiencing the same thing that they experienced before, but I'm experiencing it today. I got connected with these people. These people were strangers to me. I didn't know them. But what I did know was that they was like me. They had a problem with the use and abuse of drugs. That when they took one, they could not stop. The drug that they loved, they just wanted more, more, and more. And I identified with that. I understood that. I understood the craving. I understood suppressing the trauma and the pain of the mistakes of the past, what was done to me and what I've done to others, and the emotional and mental pain I had to live with on a daily basis, how the drug made me forget just for a short time. And I had to use more and more until it became my prison because the drug started controlling me. And as I got help in recovery and I started building my life, I started to see the stigma of addiction make me feel ashamed that I was a recovering addict. But I couldn't understand that I'm recovering from a situation that was destroying my life for 40 years. But now I'm feeling ashamed that I'm an addict, that I'm recovering. That when I shared this information to people that I care about and I love, they looked at me differently. They treated me differently. You know how people treat you from a distance? That's how the people that I love started to treat me from a distance. As I was growing in my recovery and I had time, I still felt that distance. When I shared with people that I meet that I am a recovering addict, I seen that look of, I don't want you to be around me, or I have some things to go, so you can go, but I'll check you later. And they never do. They never invite you back to their home. They treat you like you're low class, the scum of the earth, with the way they act around you. And the funny thing is that in recovery, those that have plenty of time, 10, 15 years, sometimes treat newcomers not as special as they are. They may embrace in the form that everybody does when someone new comes into the program, but they all standoffish and look down at that person because they see so many people go in and out that they don't want to get attached to these people. So they treat them from a distance. And it hurts. Now I want to get to the subject that I want to talk about. Now, I want you to hold on to that thought. Our actions affect the people we love around us and people that know us. And it's hard sometimes for people to accept who you are and what you've done. But those same people want the same gratitude and respect and love for their mistakes. But they feel your mistakes are worse than their mistakes. That I made some mistakes, but man, you're dope. You just all the way out there. A mistake is a mistake is a mistake. It's like if you break the law, you broke the law. Yeah, you have degrees of punishment, but you broke the law. It's all the same. You still broke the law and you're still going to get punished. You broke the law. You are no different than anybody else that break the law. What I found that works is that we have to understand that we all make mistakes in this lifetime that we live. We all hurt by the bad choices we've made in our lives. And if we can truly understand that this is what we've done, then we should not be so judgmental about others and their mistakes. They're just human, just like you are. You know, I love a saying that they say in the program, some of us are sicker than others. And that is so true. Do you know someone that their behavior does not make a bit of sense? That there's no justification for their behavior? And they come into your life to disrupt and dismantle? All right, now let's use this as an example. A recovering addict doesn't go to the dope spot to tell people you need to get clean and sober. Because if you go to the dope spot, there's a good chance you might buy you some dope. That's why recovering addicts don't do that. They say, you know where we're at. You don't have to live like this. Come back to the rooms. We're there for you. That means when you decide to change your behavior to try something different, we're here for you. But it has to be up to you. I know that living life on life's terms, being in recovery, sometimes get difficult. Sometimes we get thrown curves that we're not used to. We get used to being comfortable in a lifestyle that we built for ourselves in our recovery. But we must understand that life changes by situations and actions that happen. And we have to be versatile and accept the change and move forward. Now, let me give you an example. If you have someone that you know that causes issues and problems, but you have to deal with that person, and they know how to push your buttons, they know how to rile you up, but you have to deal with this person. How do you approach something like that when it's a good possibility they're going to try to push your buttons? Well, for me, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to get me to act other than myself to justify what they're doing. So if I don't feed into their negativity, if I don't feed into the drama that they're putting, they're just like a balloon with hot air. And it just slowly disappears. But if I allow this person to cause me to act other than myself, then they have a control over my feelings and my emotions. Excuse me. Yes, they have control over your feelings and emotions. And they'll continue to push your buttons to make you do what they want you to do to cause the issue, so they justify their actions. Now, let's get back into recovery. Just because I have years clean time doesn't mean that I'm better than a person that just has 2 hours. I'm not no better than anybody else. I understand that strangers love me until I love myself. Strangers walk me through the program of recovery. So why can't I do the same for others? They didn't judge me because they told me it wasn't their job. I was told that they are helping me find my own way in recovery. Find out what works for Robert. And the tools Robert needs to use to stay clean and sober. And that's the same thing that when you have people that come into your life to disrupt. If they choose to come into your life and disrupt and dismantle and try to destroy what you built, step back and allow them to be who they are. Because I learned in living, Robert does the most damage to himself than anybody else can do to him. So if a person is on that track and that method, let them be who they are and let them destroy themselves in the process. And you step back. I remember years ago, I used to think that pain will make a person act right. Get them up off my back. That if I give them enough pain, emotional and mental and physical pain, they'll be so engrossed with the pain that they will leave me the hell alone or do what I want them to do. And then I found myself in the situation of giving pain on a regular basis because it got to the point that everyone was trying me. But when I learned to step back and allow people to be who they are, and all that they spitting at me and all they are, the way they are treating me and coming down on me and looking down on me, you're a dopey, you're an addict. And I wouldn't say nothing. I said, yeah, I'm a dopey and I'm an addict. I'm a recovering addict. I'm happy for who I am today. I'm happy where I came from. My addiction taught me a lot of things that you don't know, that I know. And they couldn't mess with my peace. They couldn't mess with my happiness. They could not mess with what recovery has given me because I allowed them to be who they are. And I said, your actions are not going to affect me mentally and emotionally. No. That's your belief. That's your actions. That's on you. That's not on me. You can't make me do something that I do not want to do. There are some people that try to provoke you so you can get physical with them, so they can prove a point. Do you fall victim to that? And this is living life on life's terms because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We don't know what kind of negative thing is going to happen to us or positive things going to happen to us tomorrow. But we need to prepare ourselves to live life on life's terms. The program of recovery says, Robert, you need to live life on life's terms. That means you have to be versatile, pay attention, listen, watch, and learn. Robert does not have to react on everybody's emotion and feelings. When a person is not in line with the choices and the lifestyle that I live, then when they're doing things that I don't agree with, I don't associate with them on that level because I don't agree with them. But I respect them. That's their life. That's their choice. Handle your business. If you like it, I love it. You have a right to live your life, good, bad, or indifferent. If you want to go and rob the bank, that's your choice. But understand there's consequences if you get caught. But it'll be on you. I'm not co-signing. I'm not having nothing to do with the choice that you made because you put yourself in that boat. Recovery told me that Robert is his worst enemy, so he needs to pay close attention to himself so he don't hurt himself because Robert can do the most damage to himself. And when people are causing you drama and spitting negativity at you, they want you to self-destruct, to destroy yourself, to come out of yourself, to be something that you used to be or something that nobody recognized. So they can sit and grin and smile. You ever watch a TV program where in a crime show where the suspect, he gets caught and he provokes the police officer and the police officer beats him up and then he goes to court talking about the abuse and then he gets bailed out and he disappears because he provoked that police officer to do something that he wanted done so he can get out of a situation or to make a point. And we must pay attention to our surroundings because this is one of the things that people do. If people don't like you, don't respect you, or want to hurt you, they will always try to take you out of your character, out of your comfort zone, for you to act other than yourself, so they can point the finger and say, see, look, I told you they was like that, and you fell victim to their game. How does Robert guard his peace? When I come in a situation like that, I have nothing to say. I sit on my hands because in my mind, I've done committed murder to you about 1,000 times, about 1,000 different ways, but I say nothing because it's not worth my time or effort. But I do feel this way, but I'm not doing anything about it. I'm keeping it to myself. That teaches me to have control over my emotions and feelings. It teaches me to know that there's only a few people that love Robert, and there's a whole lot of people that don't like Robert. And then there's a whole lot of people are afraid of you because of your past. And there's a whole lot of people that don't want to associate with you because you say you're a recovering addict. You're a dope fiend. So all they can see is the homeless guy with a needle in his arm walking around, high as a kite, ain't cleaned, ain't washed, ain't bathed. And people said they just need to get on there, get their act together. They need to get their act together. They need to do something. It's their choice, it's their fault. But they don't equate it with addiction. And then as more people live in this hell of abuse, of drug abuse, then now they say, it's an addiction. You hear more people say it's about addiction. They have no control over themselves. It's about addiction. But we still have the stigma about it because there are people that keep it a secret. Here's the thing. In recovery, those in recovery share their story to others in recovery. And they learn from each other. They create bonds, relationships, and they build a life for themselves, a brand new one. Because when you come from addiction to recovery, you can't hang with the people that get high anymore. You can't. You have to find your way and build a life with true peace and happiness. And it's up to you. Now, I want to address those who have built their life. When they look back at their life a year ago or 2 years ago and they see what they have now and you're proud of what you built, remember this, that there are always going to be jealous people, always, looking at you, looking at what you achieved, and seeing how happy you are. And they don't want you to be happy. They want you to be miserable like they are. They want you to be unhappy like they are. They want you to be like them. Misery loves company. Why do you think people connect so much that are coming into recovery, and those have been in recovery, and those in recovery share their stories, and the people that come into recovery, they bond with them because they hear the truth, because they're like they are. They've experienced some of the things that they've experienced, and they found a way out of the pain and the misery that addiction has given them. So, in closing today's Saturday, understand this, that there are people that don't want to see you succeed, that are jealous of you, that are unhappy with their lives and the choices that they made. And they don't understand how you can go through all that you've been through, all that you've experienced in your life, and to be this happy, have peace, and have the life that you built for yourself. They don't understand how you did it. So they hold on to what you've done in the past, and they throw it in your face to hurt you. But recovery says, I must clean the wreckage of my past so I can move forward in my recovery. So when I clean the wreckage of my past, what I did in the past, you can't hold it against me. Why? Because I owned up to my past mistakes. I made amends to those that I harmed. If I had to make a monetary value, I did that too. So how can you hold my past against me when I addressed it and did the right thing, the next right thing that recovery tells me to do? Recovery teaches me to be happy with myself, about working on myself to make Robert better. Robert understands that the only way Robert can get better is he has to work on himself. I'll give you this little story, this little male example. My physical therapist tells me I need to be more active. And I noticed that I'm gotten comfortable in the lifestyle that I'm living. And I didn't understand and realize how difficult it was for me to change my behavior. See, I had my prostate removed because I had prostate cancer. And all these new things and different things that I'm learning about myself and my body and the repairs and all this it does get overwhelming at times. But everything that I'm doing is completely different what I used to live my life. And I'm so comfortable and used to living in a certain way, which makes it hard for me to change my behavior until I remembered. It took me 40 years to get out of active addiction to get recovery. I don't have that much time to play with myself without changing my behavior to make Robert better. So I took that, put it deep in my heart and in my mind, and me and my neighbor, we went and climbed the mountain. We did 5 miles. I haven't walked 5 miles in at least 5 years at one time. And we was going up and down. We could look down at the valley. The walk was very invigorating, and trust me, it took a lot out of me. But when I got home, I took my shower and everything, and I was in a lot of pain in my lower back. What I needed to do for myself, I should have been doing. I overdid it because I did 5 miles. But my neighbor, he's got like 5 years on me, and I'm 66. So, and for him to walk the way he was walking, I didn't want to look bad, so I kept up with him. But also, when I got home, I felt it. That let me know right then and there that, Robert, you need to take more care of yourself. You need to do more physical activity until you can work through the pain. I share that with you to tell you that when we get to a plateau in our lives, that everything is going good and we don't want nothing to shake and rock that boat, so we want to stay right there. But the blessing comes when we start climbing the mountain, when we go further. Remember, 10 years ago, what you had. Then go back 5 years ago and look what you've achieved from the 10 years. There's a 5 years in between the 10. And then another 5. And then where you're at today. And you see how you got better. You learned from some of the mistakes you made. You made your life better. You achieved more. You have more. You're more at peace with yourself. Because we're constantly working on ourselves to be better. We have to. Because if we don't work on ourselves on a daily basis to be better, we slide back down the rabbit hole and we can end up back into active addiction. So we have to stay. It's just like I have to do more walking and activity so my lower back, my arthritis in my lower back won't give me so much pain. And what my doctor has told me is that you have to be active with the arthritis, which gives you less pain. But if you don't use it a lot, it gives you more pain and stiffness. And she was totally right. So what I'm saying is, don't let people, places, or things divert you from your primary purpose of living your best life. Don't let people make you come out of yourself, act differently than you have been, but they want you to act like you was in your active addiction. Don't allow people to do that to you. You've grown so much, you've built a life for yourself, far beyond your dreams. And the more you do better, the more people will be jealous around you because you have happiness, you have inner peace, and you shine. Others see it, you stand out. They want what you have, but they're not willing to work for it They just want you to discredit you, and they want you to feel like they feel. Misery loves company. People like for you to have misery so they can justify their actions. So I ask you to live life on life's terms, keep the focus on yourself, and make your life better. And do not let people, places, or things divert you from your primary purpose of staying clean and sober. Because you've done so much work to get where you're at. You've overcome so many things to have what you have. And God, a power greater than yourself, restored you to sanity so he can give you the blessings that you so readily deserve. This is Robert Goodman from Positive Stroke, Staying Clean. Wishing you will have a great Saturday. And remember, you are my hero. The ones that share on social media their posts, their clean time, their pictures, their thoughts. That's what makes me love recovery. That lets me know that there are people like me out there striving to live their best lives, that I can do the same. I don't want to be sick as my secrets, and I'm not ashamed of recovery. So my name is Robert, and I am a recovering addict. You have a great and wonderful day.